Knowledge is power. It has the power to transform oneself and others. Incontestably, education leads to enlightenment leads to empowerment, and empowerment in turn leads to individual and collective development. Undoubtedly, education plays a pivotal role in the process of transforming societies. It promotes such values as respect and understanding, and helps communities to confront challenges and to usher in sustainable development. Education lays those foundations so necessary for establishing good governance, effective democratic participation, and the safeguarding of human rights. It empowers the disadvantaged and marginalized groups and helps create an inclusive society. Education is the one most powerful tool which enables the participation of individuals in the knowledge economy, while at the same time helping to improve the quality of life. It was Gandhiji who said that India lives in her villages. He tended to romanticize village life, considering it as a means of ensuring the creation of a self-reliant, simple, free, non-violent, and truthful nation. However, with the passage of time and the inevitability, many villages have evolved into cities or townships. However, this happened without those benefits normally associated with a town or a city, like better infrastructure, credible educational institutions, and efficient healthcare facilities. A visit to Yadagiri, a district in northern Karnataka, will bear this out. It is one of the most backward districts in the state and possibly also in the whole of India. Like most rural residents of Karnataka, agriculture is a major occupation of the people. As the returns are poor, a large number of parents cannot afford to send their children to any school that offers a decent education. As a result, most children go routinely to schools which lack the necessary infrastructure and which, as a result, cannot ensure quality. The situation becomes much more complex since all villages do not have schools, and since there is a pronounced absence of a regular and affordable transport system. Besides, one has to contend with the challenge of the lack of motivation of both the poverty-ridden parents and the poorly paid teachers. Education for Enlightenment and Empowerment is Don Bosco Yadagiri's flagship program for social transformation. It is sought to be realized through primary and high schools, a junior college, and a teachers training institute in the Don Bosco campus. The program also runs tuition centers and evening coaching classes in the villages. Don Bosco also runs a boarding school for boys and another for girls for the benefit of the children from the many remote villages. Don Bosco institutions, spread through 132 countries in the world, have a well-developed system of education.
Attention! Band, welcome Salute, Salome, go!
Don Bosco, an Italian Catholic priest who developed the system in the mid-1800s, believed that education is fundamentally a matter of the heart and that the student is at the heart of the system.
Attention!
In this system, much emphasis is placed on reason, human values, and teacher-student relationship. The Don Bosco campus, still in its early stages of development, seeks to be both child-friendly and eco-sensitive. The students are taught to care for plants and trees, and this in turn helps to instill in them the value of manual labor. Don Bosco has well-furnished classrooms, adequately furnished science and computer labs, and a library. Though they cannot be compared with those in the top-notch institutions in the cities, they are definitely a great improvement on what was available even a decade ago.
But institutions like Don Bosco, which doesn't have that, which doesn't actually discriminate for students like on the basis of marks. Like recently, like when I was there, actually I met this one kid. So that kid earlier, he was actually like into child labor. Basically, he was working as a laborer even though he was a child. So that kid has been taken under the wings of Don Bosco, and now I've seen he actually speaks English like very nicely actually. He speaks good English. So that is the improvement. That is the real qualitative improvement. When you take students maybe like whose base, now if you take students whose base is already high and you maintain that standard, that doesn't speak anything like volumes about the quality of your school or college. But when you take someone whose base is very low and then you improve him to that extent that one day that person, that student can also compete with the students who have actually attended all these top schools, these creamy schools, that is actually an achievement.
However, its real assets are the eager students who enliven the campus and the dedicated staff who seek to establish a personal rapport with the students. This is in keeping with Don Bosco's own example and his teaching that when a teacher is accepted, respected, and loved, the teaching and the learning process take care of themselves. The stress on academic performance, however, has not in the least downplayed the importance of co-curricular activities. The staff is convinced that these activities impart such values as discipline, tolerance, cooperation, and teamwork. The organized visits to the villages keep the students connected to their roots and helps them imbibe a spirit of social responsibility, besides helping them to remain in touch with the village traditions. This naturally leads to making education truly contextual and gives credence to the claims of Don Bosco that it provides a contextualized education based on the power of the here and the now.
I know Don Bosco from the beginning, and they have started with a small building and they started with the social work. Then they have started the school. Now it has reached PU college and D.Ed college and B.Ed college, and they are doing very good work. And not only in this district place, they have covered all around the villages.
To tide over the challenge of providing itself with qualified teachers who share its vision, Don Bosco has started a D.Ed college. This has proved to be a very welcome development in a region which is always prone to teacher drain, as the few available teachers are always on the lookout for better opportunities in the more developed towns. Another challenge that had to be addressed was that of the parents considering their children to be earning members of the family. This has for a long time led to the perpetuation of the evil of bonded labor.
Maybe the quantum of change that you are bringing about is only limited to the very few people that you cater to. You do not have Don Bosco may not have its spread all over the district or in all the villages in the district. But I believe that the areas where it focuses on, it is excelling, that it is doing well, it is able to bring about a change.
The boarding schools, both for boys and for girls in the Don Bosco campus, have proved to be a great boon to the children hailing specially from the more remote areas. They are living, studying and playing together in a friendly ambience in the boarding schools help them also to overcome the social, religious and economic barriers which prove quite insurmountable back home in their own villages. However, running these boarding schools becomes a challenge to Don Bosco, as it has to provide for these children with food, clothing, study materials, recreational amenities, and even school fees and staff salary. Free supplementary education centers or evening tuition centers in the villages also play a decisive role in the education of the lesser privileged children. In these centers, children are given free tuition, and the most deserving are provided with the necessary study materials, uniforms, etc. There are in all 10 such centers, though the solutions are present in 23 nearby villages. The lack of adequate furniture and space forces Don Bosco to hold classes in open spaces under some shady trees or in some private houses, which offer their minimal facilities. These centers serve also to gather the parents of the children in order to motivate them and to open their minds to visualize a better future for their children and to plan together the possible development programs in the village. We, the Solutions of Don Bosco, have indeed made significant contributions to the cause of education during the few years that we have been at Yadagiri. In the process, we have also become more aware than ever of the significant challenges facing education in these rural areas.
See, I certainly feel institutions like Don Bosco have a role to play. There are many NGOs, other NGOs also working in the other parts of the country. The only thing is we need to, as a government, we need to supplement, complement the efforts, because institutions can only work at a small level. They cannot cover massive level. So, institutions like Don Bosco will be able to achieve success and will be able to achieve sustainability only if institutes work hand in hand with the government, complement, supplement and support it.
Far from being intimidated by the challenges we face, we look forward to the future with confident hope. Our confidence springs from our own achievements in the past, and our hope is kindled from what we see reflected in the eager and trusting eyes of these deprived children. Literally a hope for the future. Their eyes tell us that we are their hope, and we believe that we can truly form them into agents of change and development. In fact, we are led to tell them what Don Bosco himself used to tell the children under his care. For you, I study. For you, I work. And for you, I'm willing even to lay down my life.
You know, right now we focus only on a few villages in and around Yadagiri. I want it to be larger so that wherever the people are in a precarious situation, wherever the children actually need more help, which is far away from the city, now that is where we need to focus our attention on.
This in effect sums up the motivation for our solutions in our various forms of engagement with the people of Yadagiri. We thus dare to tell these children, looking straight into those trusting eyes, yes, we believe you are the future, and together we shall build a better future for your families and for the people of Yadagiri. And together we shall contribute to making our world a better place to live in.